Hi, Cheryl Boyce here formerly from Ash Avenue, Clovelly Park, Adelaide, South Australia, the safe contaminated area. I was the first out of the area. We were told we could stay there and it was quite safe as levels were low. And yet since then another 30 plus have gone. The place is totally bulldozed and flattened, so that's how safe it was. After watching the news tonight with SA Health involved in the Oakden retirement village, comes as no surprise to me because SA Health are totally negligent and they need to be looked into. They insisted that they did indoor testing on my home in Clovelly Park. I have been fighting that for 3 years now, and it has caused me so much distress that I think someone is going to have to pay for that because they are wrong. I've got proof that they are wrong. They insisted they put canisters in my home when they did not. There was readings, they were low level readings, but they couldn't have got readings from my house because they weren't in there. But they are telling me that I let somebody into the house and I had these barbecue-sized canisters sitting in a lounge in a bedroom that I didn't notice. And plus they came back the next day to take them out. Now, my son, who was in his mid-20s, he's a non-drinker, non-smoker. I'm a non-drinker, non-smoker. Neither of us let these people in. There was certainly no canisters in the house. It is all totally wrong. The two so-called ladies from SA Health that were doing this or locating these canisters, they were standing in my house, apparently. Now, on the back of where and mind you, this, what they've done, this here is in several different handwritings from SA Health. So you would assume that all that, putting the canisters in 2 rooms, was all done on one day, you would think, but the writing is all very different. They were also, they did a graph on the back of the floor plan of my house. Unfortunately, it's not my floor plan, so there's their mistake. They've made a big mistake and they're trying to cover it up. Big mistake. Now, in a letter from Ian Hunter, they did some testing in my house in 2015. Now, he said that 2 metres down they found 11 ppm of TCE, but 1 metre down they found nothing. They did that testing in summer, and in summer, no problem, the groundwater's down. Winter time, and I had 26 winters there, I was completely flooded, which I've got photos to prove, all around. And all that water came down from Munro's, but it stopped in my yard. It did not go next door, it stopped in my yard. I could not go out the back without gumboots. That's how bad it was. So my foundations were saturated, absolutely saturated. So, and then all the walls were separating, the ceiling was separating. So therefore, vapour intrusion, because of course in the wintertime you've got all your windows shut tight because it's cold, that vapour intrusion was coming in. So that 11 ppm that was 2 metres down in summer was up in my floor, was in my house. That's why I was so sick. And thank you very much for letting me suffer for those many years, knowing full well that that was contaminated since 2008. Now, someone's got to be held accountable for that. In 2008, a young woman died at the end of the street near Munro's in townhouses, and as soon as she passed away, they knocked the places down and nothing was ever built there. The playground was shut because it was all contaminated with TCE. Now, that wouldn't have happened if there wasn't a problem. Why weren't we told in 2008 or had a choice to leave instead of getting sick? I was in hospital so many times having procedures like an angiogram, very nice, for things that I didn't need, had I known that I was being poisoned by chemicals. My cardiologists tend to agree with that now, and everything seems to be getting back to normal, but it's nearly 3 years now that it's taken me to get back to normal health-wise. My son suffered shocking blood noses there, to wake up to he was a teenager, but screaming, and you go in and the bed is just saturated in blood, and you think, what in the hell has happened here? Blood noses. Hexavalent chromium sort of does that. So Erin Brockovich told me in October last year when I had a meeting with her when she was in Adelaide. Now, our levels of chemicals were low, but we exceeded in lead and arsenic, nickel. They were exceeded the adopted guidelines plus the TCE in some areas. But it doesn't go up and down like that. It just doesn't. It migrates, and all those chemicals are mixed together. They are very potent, and of course in the wintertime they surface with the groundwater, which in turn comes into your home and makes you sick. We had 2 children born next door that were both born with defects, heart problems, ear problems, vision problems, growth problems. Oh no, it's not the chemicals. It's our lifestyle. It's Mr. Bucket said, do you eat bacon? Oh, fig's sake, all these pathetic things, household products and herbicides and pesticides. Well, we're aware of that, and we take care, Mr. Bucket. We don't go using those sort of things if we are sensible, and we are. And I also had somebody from the EPA project team went to one of the neighbours, and my name was brought up, and he said to this neighbour that I had a problem, that I'm a depressed woman and I need to get a life. How nice is that? You sit there and you're being poisoned day in, day out. You're sick. Ambulances to and from hospital, running around out in the street trying to get some help because I thought I was going to collapse. I couldn't get to the phone. I didn't know what to do. Sometimes I'd go to get up and walk and I was numb from the waist down. Sometimes I couldn't see because it was like I had oil in my eyes. I had a rapid, irregular heartbeat. I couldn't breathe properly. My blood pressure when one ambulance come was 220 over 100, and he said, any wonder you're not feeling well? What brought all this on, Dr. Bucket? We know what brought it on. Munro's brought it on with all the chemicals, and EPA, SA Health, Munro's allowed people to sit in Ash Avenue and Chestnut Court since 2008 and suffer and die, because that young woman died of a TCE-related cancer, and there's proof of that. I am now going, I want charges laid. That's what I want. It's not the compensation so much. It is charges for doing people harm and leaving them in harm's way, particularly children. It's not on, and it's happening all over Australia, and it's happening all overseas. And the fact that all these people, where everybody is putting it all together, we're working it out, and all EPA and SA Health and all the governments and all the other health departments and everything are just trying to cover it all up. Well, I'm sorry, but it's not going to work for much longer, because people are just as smart as what you are, and we're picking up on everything that you've covered up. And when it comes out, hopefully you'll be behind bars for doing this to people and allowing people in Oakden and things like that. It just is not on. I tried to do something about my dad when he was in a home because of the abuse that was going on in that particular home, and I was shoved under a carpet by, it was health and ageing or something then at that particular time. So see, that was 10 years ago. Nothing has changed since then. It's just getting worse, and SA Health need to be held accountable, and so do EPA need to be held accountable, and Munro's have to be held accountable for poisoning us also. Thank you.